Dot cards, everywhere there are dot cards. And instead of the usual just swatching people do with dot cards, today we will be making a painting for every single dot we have on one of these cards. So stay tuned for that. So welcome. If you're new, my name is Miranda, and on this channel we do a lot of watercolor, sometimes art subscription boxes, and we just play with art supplies, period, but mostly watercolor. So these are all dot cards that I have received from a.k.a. She has a channel here on YouTube, and I will link that below. She actually has two channels now, so I'll link them both below. One is more a studio vlog, and the other is more just for watercolor. If you are a Patreon subscriber of hers, I think that the $25 a month level, you get sent one of these dot cards every single month. And you can see this one has a lot of paint on it, but generally they come with about that much paint on them, which is still way more than you might get from another manufacturer like this one or this one. QoR actually has quite a bit of paint on it as well, so that one's going to be a good one. I have done paintings with the dot cards before. Here, I was looking for an indigo, and I had an indigo dot card from a.k.a, and we did a bunch of indigo paintings to try and figure out which indigo that I wanted to buy. I chose QoR. My runner-up was Sennelier. Also, one more thing before we get into the video. It is World Watercolor Month, where you are encouraged to paint one painting every day for the entire month of July. And guess what? I am participating in that. So you will see not only a painting of a dot card for every single dot on a card, you will also be seeing me follow the prompts for World Watercolor Month, which I will put up on the screen here for you to see. I'll also put a link in the description box for you to visit the Doodle Wash Foundation, which is the company that puts on World Watercolor Month. They also have prompts every month that you can just keep painting if you want to. I think July is good for me for everyday painting, but it is a great practice to get into. Okay, enough talking. Let's get into the video right now. Here's the dot card before I use it all up in this video that we're using. Mostly Indanthrone Blue, little Indanthrene Blue, Royal Blue, and Dark Blue looks like are added to it, so this should be fun. Let's get to it. Starting out with Indanthrone Blue by Daniel Smith, which is the pigment PB60. This is for the prompt Reflection, day one's prompt. And I saw this picture somewhere, and I really enjoyed it, so kind of sketched it out on my own. And I did get me sketching the hands and painting them, but it was on a boat, and the footage was really rocky, so I just left it out. And I figured you guys would know. It's sketching, it's painting in a dark color for the hands. It's not a big deal. So here we have Reflection. I just love this one. And this paint, oh, so pretty, so easy to work with, so easy to re-wet. It was just a joy, and loved every minute of this little painting. Definitely and for sure. And my favorite part of these paintings was taking the tape off and then putting the little like gradient in the side, and then wetting the bottom little corner, which I'm doing right now, and dropping the paint in to see how it spreads. And this one spread a lot, but when you see some of the others, this one's actually not that much. So here is day one, Reflection. I love it. So peaceful. Day two is Momentum, and I searched through my entire camper to try and find something round because I wanted to do those little balls where you pull one up and you let go and it hits the other balls and it makes the other side bounce, and it keeps going for a ridiculous amount of time. And I thought that really, I don't know, it just epitomized, is that the right word? Momentum. So I wanted to do that. So this is Royal Blue, Holbein. The pigment is PB60. All of these are PB60. And we have day two of World Watercolor Month. So this one, I know the light's a little tricky, but I didn't want to run the generator in my camper in order to turn on my studio lights, even though I did bring them with me. I just don't like running the generator all the time. It's kind of loud. Anyway, you can deal with the light. There's a window behind me, and it's really actually not too bad. So here I am just finishing up. I didn't want the outline to be just white, so I put a little blue around the edges, and then oh my gosh, the part where I put in those lines, oh, that was kind of a disaster. I'm using the edge of the dot card as a kind of a ruler, and it doesn't work well. Plus, if you get paint on the ruler, so to speak, it's going to move into the other areas of your painting, and well, my strings have character. Let's just say that. We have strings with character. Anyway, fun part, taking the tape off, doing the little gradient. See, that one didn't spread very much, but the gradient really was pretty. So there is day 2, Momentum with Holbein's Royal Blue. What do you guys think? You like it? Well, regardless, next up is Sennelier's Blue Indanthrene. It is also PB60, like I mentioned. This is for day 3, Dainty. And all I could think of for Dainty when I was looking at hundreds of references and ideas is this tiny little ring on someone's finger. And it turned out really well at the beginning. And then off camera, I tried to... What was I trying to do? Oh, mix out a hard line, and I didn't realize, but my finger was dirty, and I was doing it with my finger, and I smudged over that. But I will show it to you the very end of this video, because it doesn't actually show up in this part of the footage, because I did it with the camera off. So it looks better in this footage than it actually ended up being, because my dirty finger smudged it, and this is cellulose moleskin paper, and basically you put a mark down and it's permanent forever apparently, but there it is. Next up is one I really struggled with, the prompt word, which was spatter. And if you're really into blood spatter, Casey Golden, anyway, you can find lots of references, but that is not my gig. I do not enjoy blood spatter. So I was asking around, my son was home that day, and I'm like, I just can't think of anything. And he's like, well, I think you should do welding. And that did kind of cross my mind, ironically enough, because welding kind of has a spatter, at least if you do it wrong. So he suggested that, and so I took that idea more seriously, found a really good reference, and here it is. And this is Dark Blue by Schminke, PB60 again. And this is my favorite out of all of them. I don't know, I love the way it turned out. I love that it was my son's suggestion and that I could share this with him when I was done with it. And it's just a fun one. So this one definitely uses masking fluid, which I almost forgot to take off here at the end to show you guys. But I finally remembered. I'm like, oh, well, they're seeing it with masking fluid still on it. Duh, take it off, film it. So this is one where I used up, I think, all the paint. Yep, I used up all the paint on the dot card, and this did not spread too much in water. So my gradient on the left there is a little light because I had no more paint left, but there it is, my favorite. What do you guys think? Next up is Indanthrene Blue by Winsor & Newton, PB60 again, as usual. And Winsor & Newton are not my favorite paints, so I did not expect to like this one very much. I assumed it would be hard to re-wet, just like the Winsor & Newton paints I have. But hey, I was proved wrong. This one seemed really easy to re-wet, really nice to work with. It was very pleasant. So I'm like, oh, now I know why Louise DeMacy uses Winsor & Newton paints, especially because she uses them straight from the tube. That's a whole different ballgame by itself. But this was really easy to work with this time. So thank goodness. I guess the paints I had and gave away were too old maybe to be fully enjoyed. And you know, when you dry them out, it happens. But look at that gradient. It's so pretty. This is day 5 Milestone. All I could think of was we have milestones with great big lovely ideas. So light bulb. I just couldn't think of anything else, guys. So here it is what it is. Next up is Mission Gold's Indanthrone Blue, PB60. This is for day 6 Memory. What are you supposed to paint for memory? I thought about going into my old pictures and finding a good memory to paint, but I wanted something more, I don't know, indicative of the word itself. So here we have this face with all these memories coming around, and I did get this idea just from a random Google search. Mine does not match theirs, but it definitely takes elements from that one. So if it looks familiar, yeah, I took some inspiration from the internet. Imagine that. So I expected Mission Gold's Indanthrone Blue to be a little more black tinted. I mean, just because I was comparing it to their indigo, which really surprised me because it's very black. But this one is a nice, beautiful blue. You can see in the skull there, or the face, the body. What is that? The head. It's streaky on this paper because this paper is horrible if you've really been used to cotton paper. This one's not great, but oh my gosh, did you see the way that spread in the water? This was so pretty, and the gradient's really nice. It's a good one. Next up is one of my absolute favorite brands of paint to work with, QoR. This is Indanthrone Blue by QoR, the one, the only. I like this paint. Okay, anyway, this is for day 7, Breathe, and we have a water scene, which is really fun to paint, plus some like clouds and sky, which is great for QoR because QoR loves to spread, and it makes really cool looking clouds, and it just makes that soft look by its spreadability in water. Look at that. Oh, did you see that spread? It's so awesome. Anyway, trying to get the light spot in the middle where the sun kind of is back out of the paint, and then doing my silhouette. Silhouettes are so, oh, what's the word? Just, I don't know. They're fun to do. They're fun to paint. So if you don't know what to paint and you don't want to get too detailed with color and stuff, find a silhouette. They turn out looking neat, and they're pretty easy to paint. The background was super fun. Look at those spread. Oh, and the gradient. Everything about this paint is so darn pretty. Anyway, there's QoR, Indanthrone Blue, day 7, Breathe. And last but not least for this dot card and World Watercolor Month, day 8, which is Wing, by the way, we have DaVinci's PB60 Indanthrene Blue, and this is a really pretty color. I don't know about DaVinci though. There was some things about it that I was like, it feels a little different to me than I'm used to. So I wonder, because I don't know, I use a lot of paints with different binders. Beats me, but it was still pretty. It was easy to work with, but it did feel different than some of the other paint that I used. So I found that interesting. There you have it. It was interesting. Anyway, this paint also spreads in water like in a wow kind of fashion. So check that out when I get to it. It surprised me 2 pieces. And then the gradient turned out pretty nice, but it did lighten up quite a bit. I'm trying to think if this is one. I don't think I ran out of paint on any except the Schminke, so I think this is what you see is what we get. Well, that was crazy fun, you guys. If you have dot cards, I highly recommend that you do little dot card paintings. It is so much more rewarding than just swatching them. And we did 8 days of World Watercolor Month. That is also fun. That's my favorite one, by the way. I think I've already told you that. I'm going to tell you again. Anyway, yes, really fun thing to do with dot cards. If you have enough paint on them, that is. You have to have enough paint, because I did run out on one of them. All right, have a great day. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now. That's better. Okay, where's my sketchy book? Lost. Oh, my computer's on it. I'll also link that. I'll also link you to the. Wait, what? What am I saying? Yeah, Doodle Wash link. Go there, visit. Okay. They also have months. No, not months.